Hey y'all, happy April. John Antonelli here, excited to talk to you about an amazing Cheese of the Month Club. We are doing Meet the Makers. So every month we have a different sort of theme, and this one is one of my favorites. This is when Kendall and I and the team get to choose a really cool producer around the country, around the world that we partner with, and showcase a selection of what they do and what they produce. And it's really fun for us because the reason why we are in this business and the reason why we have staying power in this business is because of the relationships that we've developed and the people that inspire us. And the cheesemaker that we're working with in April is one of my all-time favorites. This is Nettle Meadow. This is one of the greatest producers in the country. And I feel blessed every time I get to eat this cheese because it has a very special place in my heart. If you look on the label, you'll see it says produced in Lake Luzerne or manufactured in Lake Luzerne or Warrensburg, New York. These are places where I practically grew up. I grew up in New York, outside of New York City, and my family had this really great little a cabin in the middle of nowhere in the Adirondacks that was kind of like a bomb shelter in case something happened in New York during World War II. And it was in the middle of nowhere. There were a handful of neighbors, and it was sort of like camping. And we would go up in the summer for a week or so, 2 weeks every year. Beautiful pine trees, amazing environment, babbling brooks, all of the things that you picture in mountainous sort of wilderness. Though I never did see a bear, though I know that they are there. But what's so cool about this, I spent most of my young childhood going to this town called Johnsburg, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere, a little dot, barely on a map, with a population of about 30 people. And that's where we would go and spend a week or so in the summer. And what was amazing, we got into cheese and I spent all this time researching. One day I was in this great book about American cheesemakers, and I was looking for some farmstead cheesemakers. Farmstead cheesemakers are those who actually care for the animals, and they raise them, they take care of them, they milk them every day, and then they also make the cheese. And what a incredible commitment you have to do all of those things day in and day out, because animals really don't take vacation. And I was researching, and there was this one company, and I looked, I was like, this can't be right. Johnsburg, New York, there's no way. And sure enough, Nettle Meadow is based out of Johnsburg, New York. So I grew up about 2 miles away from this farm, never knowing it. But when you talk about terroir or the taste of place, to me, this is a very special one. Sheila and Lorraine are these amazing partners at this dairy, which has this really beautiful legacy of also being sort of a sanctuary for animals. And they've worked really hard over the years to take care of these beautiful animals. And last year, Kendall and I finally got to visit, and it's amazing because the goats no longer live on this property in Johnsburg. They actually are off at another farm, because the particular farm in Johnsburg is now home to so many animals that had no place to go. They are allowed to live out the rest of their lives. So pigs, chickens, donkeys, some of the older goats that stop milking, you name it. There's all these types of animals that Sheila and Lorraine care for right there on the property. And it's amazing because there's just so much love that goes into that. And then they make world-class cheese on top of this. And one of the other things that's super cool for me in the story is that this is the only dairy that 4 generations of my family have visited. My grandmother got to visit Nettle Meadow, my parents, Kendall and myself, and our kiddos. So far, this is the only one that has gotten all 4 generations, which is super awesome and exciting for me. But Sheila and Lorraine make amazing cheese in this area. They started with beautiful goat's milk cheeses. Kunik is one of our most popular cheeses in the shop. That's not included in your package here, but it is an amazing triple creme that I highly encourage you to find if you fall in love with Nettle Meadow, which I'm sure you will in the course of this tasting today. So we are providing 4 awesome cheeses for you. We've got the honey lavender here. So this is fromage blanc. So this is a very fresh style cheese made at the farm, near the farm now in Lake Luzerne, which is not too far down the road. And it's just the unsalted goat cheese, and then they're gonna put a little bit of honey, a little bit of lavender. It's gonna be really delicate on your palate. Don't forget to breathe out as you're tasting it. That's when the savoriness of the honey will really come forward. But this is fantastic. Eat it plain, eat it with crackers, spread it on toast. We've once did an amazing lox bagel with a lavender salt. So you could use this instead of the cream cheese and have that really amazing lavender note with smoked salmon and toasted bread. The second cheese that I'd recommend you to try is this. Let's go with the Potash Mountain. So this is made in this sort of truncated pyramid style. This is classic of French goat cheese. It's Valençay is the sort of where the shape originated, just outside of Paris in France, and it's one of the name controlled goat cheeses. So this one, Potash Mountain, this is cow and goat milk blend. So what they've really done is worked with all 3 of the different milk types. In a moment, you're gonna get to see some Simply Sheep, which is also incredible. But you can see by feeling the texture, this is a nice, firm, dense, soft ripened cheese. It's got a little bit of ash on the outside. So you first take this beautiful curd, coat it in this black ash. That gives some help to reducing some of the acidity in the cheese, creating this nice environment where this beautiful Penicillium candidum can grow. This white mold can grow on the outside. So cheese like this, you don't even have to cut into it right away if you don't want. It's got its own ecosystem. So as it spends a little bit more time in the world, it'll get a little bit softer. You don't want to let it go too soft, because then you can get off flavors. But this is going to be a really beautiful, dense, toothsome flavored cheese. I think it's just stupendous. I hope you guys like it. The third cheese that I would encourage you to have here is the Simply Sheep. So this is a beautiful sheep's milk cheese, 100% sheep milk. Also has that beautiful white mold on it, Penicillium candidum, almost a little brainy-like. You can see it's got nice ridges. There's a little moisture that will come just from the transportation, and that's okay. What you might want to do is take this out of the paper and let it air dry in your fridge for an hour or so before serving, 30 minutes. Just put it on a cloth or a plate and let that moisture kind of seep off. It'll firm up just a smidge, but this is nice and creamy. It's going to have intense flavor profiles, but 100% sheep milk, you should get this really rich flavor profile. And all 3 of the milk types, cow is buttery and and the most versatile. Goat is the most acidic, and sheep is the most rich and like velvety. And so you should get some of that on your palate, which is really nice. A nice long finish. So that's a beautiful one. And then this is another sheep's milk cheese, the last one. This is Stinky U. So this is going to be a fun, firm cheese. So they make all types of cheese, you can see. Nice aged sheep's milk. You're going to have a bit of a bite to it. You have to chew through it, but it's going to just melt on your tongue as you go. But I just love these cheeses. I think they're astonishing. As you travel across the country, you might see some of their truffle cheeses that they make. They make another like 10 or so flavors of these fromage blanc cheeses. Again, Kunik is a triple creme, which is one of the shop's most popular, and I encourage you to find that. But really, any chance you get to support them, I just think what they're doing is amazing. Starting out as a goat dairy, now doing that and an animal sanctuary. They just have their hearts in the right place, and any chance we get to support them makes me happy. And so I hope you love Nettle Meadow, and I can't wait to see you again next month in May. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Our cheesemongers are always available to help out. Thanks, y'all. Bye.